I had this idea, I always thought it would be funny to have an action scenario where a guy was in some absurd action chase situation, but he had to stay on the phone the whole time. And the person on the other end couldn't know what was actually happening. And so that's sort of where the idea started, and then it just kind of kept on evolving to, well, wouldn't it be funny if he was talking to his niece, and wouldn't it be funny if he was sort of a criminal or sort of a shady guy, and he couldn't let her know what was really going on. And then it became, well, maybe he's converting the things that are happening into a story, a kid's story. And so it just kind of kept on evolving, and eventually became Uncle Jack as we know it. I hadn't ever shot with a DSLR before, and the great thing about using the Pentax is that for the first time we were able to shoot digital, but yet get the depth of field and the lens options that you get on 35. It was sort of the perfect camera for Uncle Jack because I love to be able to see as much of the world as I can, and so in the car, to be able to see the entire car while being up close with Jack was really ideal, because the comedic element I think really comes out of the situation being really outrageous, being totally over the top. And I think that it was really important to me, and I think to all of us, that the shooting style be as outrageous as the scenario. And I think just to kind of push the scenario over the top, we wanted to put the camera in a lot of awkward places just to, I guess, put you in the perspective of Uncle Jack. And so one of the things that we came up with was rigging the camera to the steering wheel. It just felt like it was extremely subjective point of view, and it really just put you right in his world. It was really funny because we would just, try to figure out where, how to get the camera rigged, and somebody would just be like, well, let's just tape it to the car. And it turns out to make like a movie, all you need is like a Pentax camera and a roll of tape. So while I was concepting for Uncle Jack, obviously I'd just been working with all these actors. They were all major roles in ink, and I loved working with them. And so when I was working on the script, I guess I had all those actors in mind, and fortunately they were all willing to work with me again. The actual shooting side of it was 3 days. We did 1 day on the stage for all the driving stuff, and we also did the shot where Jeremy as a clown is hanging off the building, so that was done on stage. We had to test all that stuff with the camera, make sure it was gonna hold up in the effects world. This is the explosion shot that I went in frame by frame and composited that explosion in. So this is a stock explosion effect from Video Copilot. Basically our body mount was a really crappy old tripod that I had.
Fire ignited the 17th Street explosion! They hung over the pit of bottomless despair and sadness.
This is the way the clown shot originally looked. Jim and Chris, our effects guys, rigged Jeremy through a harness that's rigged out his sleeve. So if you could see his arm a little bit better, you'd actually see the wire coming out of his sleeve there. But he was hanging off the ground maybe about 10 feet, and then we had the green screen below him. And the camera really did perform well when doing composite shots like this. I'm a firm believer that story is definitely the most important element, more than anything technical. But with a camera like the K7, it really just gives you infinite choices to tell that story.